What's up, guys? It's Mitchell or Deity, and this will be after you've watched the third episode of the new player guide. This will be a PVE tier list. The reason I'm making this tier list, I would advise against deviating from the guide too much, because the guide, we're using the same characters that you have multiple uses for all the characters I have you build, pretty much. But this is a way that you can see that if the characters you are pulling from your free daily summons are good or not. I'm sure a lot of you keep pulling characters and you want to build them right now. I'll tell you that normally we don't start building any outside characters until we're past day 10 of the guide. Then you can start customizing your accounts, but I try to make it to where we all use the same things, just so I don't have to answer the questions of, is this character good? Can I use this character instead of this character? Most of the time you could, but I cannot guide you through 300 different characters of you guys asking, I pulled this, I pulled this. I can't, it's not possible. It is a pain. So what I'm going to say is just follow the guide. If you pull characters you want to use, I try to use the minimal amount of resources to beat everything and get our team set up that you can go and build those additional characters without it really affecting your account at all. And if you do have some of the characters that we build for the guide that become later characters you don't use, that's just Epic 7. I have probably 100 characters that I'll never touch again in the game already. Potentially, unless they get buffed. But one thing is Epic 7 does get balance patches every 6 weeks. So I'm going to try to update this tier list every 2 months. So after every other balance patch. We're actually about to have a balance patch. The PvE guides really don't matter. They don't change. I'm going to tell you right now, PvE in this game is super easy. You can use basically anything to be anything if you have the gear for it and if you get creative enough. So PvE is just simple. This tier list is just if you are a PvE gamer and want to focus that, you can. But that's what I have for this. I'm going to go ahead and start dragging. I am going to put a link to the tier list, a link to the picture, because that's all I can do. I cannot give you a link to this already built tier list that I know of. So I will give you a link to the picture. It has all the names of the characters and everything, and that'll be within Discord. So when you click the link, it'll pull up a Discord image, and you can look at it that way and zoom in and whatever. So we're going to start Abigail for PvE. I think she's probably could be used, but I don't think you'd ever need it. So Abyssal Euphine, she's pretty solid and a lot of content. I think she can go in this because she can solo Banshee. She can clear all story stuff. I think she's a great PvE character, but she's mostly a PvP character. So we'll just put her there. Ainz, I think he's solid in a lot of content. Any of you guys, and I'm doing this live on Twitch, so any of you in Twitch chat that disagree with anything, what's up 110, with what I'm saying, and maybe a character's better or worse than I'm putting them, comment it, and that way anyone who's watching can see your comments. So it's not just me making this list, we're getting multiple things. So Albedo in PvE, I think she's solid in specific content. She's a defense breaker. She provides mitigation. She's going to make your team survive. I think she's pretty solid. Alencia, I think she's probably niche, but great in specific spots, potentially. She's a defense breaker. Euphine, nice and great. Yeah, Euphine has a bunch of uses, whereas, like, say, Alencia, she's a defense breaker. She could be used in probably the same amount of stuff as Albedo, but Albedo provides mit. She provides a defense buff. So I think Albedo deserves that. Tywin's probably the same. He's a defense breaker. I think he could be great in certain spots. Maybe you could use him in certain Labyrinth teams. I'm not sure. I've never thought about trying that. Ahmed maybe is good in some PvE. Apoc Ravi still, honestly, solid in specific content. She's just a good story character. Arby, I'd say solid. Arby, I might put a top tier because he's just one of the best farmers. Araminta, I'm just going to put at the bottom. You're not going to use her. Arbiter Vildred might be top tier just at the speed that he farms PvE in, dude. I think Arby is top tier. I think he's really good, whereas Spenny is good. Spectre Cheaper is going to be best all around PvE. I think she deserves that. I feel like Albedo should be top tier. I could see that. Let's move Albedo up. I do think Albedo having the defense break and the mitigation is going to be amazing in expeditions, story teams, probably good in Abyss. I think she's great in a lot of that. Yeah, RB definitely deserves higher. Archdemon, I'm going to put her at the very bottom. Architect Leica, very bottom. They're both PvP mainly focused units. Arya, I think, has specific things that she's okay for. Let me know if she should be higher. Arunka at the very bottom. Ashmancer Elena, PvP purely unit. Balance Azan is, I would say, niche. He's good for Grass Expo, but that's literally the only thing he's good in, so I would not consider building him. I don't think he has any other use cases. Baiken, solid in specific content because she's the easiest Banshee one-shotter. Basar, useless. Bihu, useless. Bellion, useless. Bologna, right now, solid in specific content because she could be used for Banshee, she could be used for Lab, she could be used for Rift. Raz is def best all around. Do you think Raz deserves best all around or just top tier? I don't know if Raz. I think Lilius, like Conqueror Lilius, would be best all around over Raz, personally. Do you think Bologna deserves top tier? The thing is, for Rift, she does get boosted, but Benny Maru, I don't think is really good anywhere. Brigitte, nowhere. Blood Moon Haste. You could probably put Blood Moon Haste in anything, and he's gonna be solid. I'm gonna put him here. I don't see any content that you couldn't put Blood Moon Haste in and have him be decent. I mean, he's gonna be decent, right? He's used in Abyss. I mean, yeah, a Raz for a new player especially would go up really high for sure. Blooming Litica, I don't think anything. Bob Model Kana, niche but great in specific spots. Bryceria, I don't think Bryceria has any PV use, but she is a defense breaker, so let's just put her great in specific spots because I think you could use her if you wanted to. Brieg is a king of PVE. Fantastic. Biblis is... Is there any other use for Biblis besides Nightmare Queen? Biblis is solid in specific content, for sure. And I think she's just a character that would get better and better, having a defense break and survivability and debuffs and strip. I think Biblis deserves higher. Cecilia, I think she's solid in specific content. You could use Cecilia in almost anything. So she definitely deserves that. Celine, I mean, Celine you could use in a couple PvE things. She does great damage. I don't know if she should be a niche or solid. Brieg is a king and also a daddy. Cool. Cerise, I think, is top tier. The dual attacks, she's good in like every expo. I think Cerise is still fantastic for PvE. I use her in all my PvE teams, and I haven't changed it in, 3 years? Sermia, niche, but good in certain things. Actually, Sermia could be solid because she has insanely high damage. Charles can be used in Banshee to clear the first wave. Charlotte, I mean, probably could be used, but they're better. Sermia and Charles, solid. You think Charles deserves solid? I don't think so. I don't see a point of going and building Charles. All right, personally, building Charles is like you have nothing else. Charles does not do as much damage as, say, Celine. And, I mean, he's an AoE character, and that's only really going to benefit you in Banshee to clear that first wave and give attack buff. So he is an attack buffer. But I think Celine, you could put in a lot of different content. Chloe can be used in Wyvern. Shu can be used in Expeditions. Closer Charles could probably be used in stuff. Leica could probably be used in stuff. Anybody use Leica for anything PV? Commander Pavel, top tier. Him plus RB, speed farm, everything. We get Vivian free too. Yeah, Vivian will go in solid. Conqueror Lilius, I think almost deserves best all-around PvE. Do you guys disagree? I think she is amazing, okay? Having Vigor buff, dual attack, barrier, those 3 things is amazing. I think Conqueror Lilius is best all-around PvE. Dark Corvus, I don't think he's got any PvE things. Death Dealer Ray, definitely not. Desert Drill Bassar, no. Designer Lilibet, maybe something with a lot of debuffs because she also doesn't debuff. So maybe Designer Lovic using something. Destina, I think she's just solid. You could put Destina in half your PvE teams and she's great. Deanne's the same way. Most Soul Weavers are. Dizzy is actually niche but great in specific slots because she can hard carry a couple Abyss floors. So Dizzy definitely belongs there. Dragon King Senya technically is like the same as Blood Moon Haste, right? You could put her in probably any PvE team and she's gonna be fine. She does decent damage. She provides a backline cleanse and then is gonna eventually get a big AoE attack. I think she probably is pretty good in certain PvE stuff. Dragon King Sharoon probably is the same way. Could be used in things. Ida, what would you use Ida in? I don't think anything, personally. Edward, probably top tier. I think Edward you could use in a ton of content. I don't personally, but I feel like Edward could be great in a lot of stuff. Elena, another kind of cleanser character. Eligos, niche. I think he could be used in maybe Hall of Trials and a few other things. Same with Elfelt. Elfelt used to be higher, but that rift is gone. Elvira, no. Amelia, she could be decent. I mean, any cleanser, like I said, is going to go there. Valen can one-shot Banshee, right? Does Valen deserve niche off that? Ludwig, I don't think we'll put him anywhere because on PvE you're going to be autoing. Is Ludwig going to be any good on auto? No. Fairy Tale Tenebria, she provides defense break. I'm sure there's something she could be used in. Faithless Lytica, no. Fallen Cecilia, she's a general tank. She could be kind of niche, but I think she would help in certain things. I don't want to say, nah, Fallen Cecilia we're putting at the bottom for now. That's dangerous though. Is Flan any good in anything? She provides defense break, crit damage buff. I think she's got to have some kind of niche spot. Umir, I don't think would be good in PvE at all. I could be wrong. Haste probably has niche things. He's another defense breaker. Holiday Euphine, feel like isn't really good in anything. Urvalen just budget Baiken. Yeah, that's why Baiken will be higher than Urvalen. Hua Young, I mean, she's just a solid character for anything. She'll do decent damage. But I don't know if she deserves here or lower. She has a little survivability. She does decent damage. I mean, we'll just say she's good in. We'll say she is good in Golem. How's that? Good in Golem. Wukong, how is Wukong in PvE? Okay, a lot of people have been very happy with Wukong in PvE. Lifesteal, you can use them on expeditions. You can use them in, you can use them in expeditions. You can use them in Abyss. I'm sure. You use them in Rift. You could use them in like everything. I'd say solid, or like top tier. I think you could use Wukong pretty much everywhere because he could also be used in Labyrinth and the lab bosses. There's a lot of lab bosses you can use him in. He's an AoE character on top of really good, just really good damage, and you build him lifesteal, so he has innate survivability. I think he's pretty good no matter what. All right, now Assyria is going in the best all around PvE for sure. Jacko could be good in Golem, maybe? I don't know. Janua, probably solid. So Janua just dies, but how is Janua in PvE? I've never thought about that. The attack and speed buff from the passive is huge. Oh, from Mortal Wukong? Yeah. He's gonna be really strong in any PvE. But Janua, would he be very good in any PvE? If you're doing Spirit or the Polytus plus him in an expedition, probably really good. Judge Kisei, I don't think is good at all in that. Kane can be used in some of the Labyrinth teams, and potentially no Grass Expo. He's not gonna be good in Grass Expo, is he? No, he's single target. I don't know. Kane's probably not very good either, but you could use him in for sure in Golem, I guess. Cowrick, I'm gonna go ahead and put Cowrick at the bottom. Kayron can go in specific because Kayron has high morale for lab. I actually do have a team with Kayron for lab. Ken, I think, is solid. Ken's pretty good for PvE. I'm not gonna lie. Kisei, I don't think we would really use her for anything. What would Kisei go in? She's just a general damage dealer, but the bad thing is she's not elemental advantage. Kane would be higher if Fire Rift was still around, yeah. But Kisei, I think you're never gonna use her. Blue Crow, you'll probably never use him. Laya, though, I don't know. Does Laya deserve top tier? She has to, right? Laya has to go top tier. Laya almost is probably one of the best all around. She cleanses, dual attacks, her S3 is nice. I mean, the only thing is Lilius provides extra whatever, whereas Laya doesn't, but Laya provides cleanse. So what would you say Laya deserves on this? That one's a hard one for me. I'll let you guys answer that. Landy, I think she's solid in specific content. Last Rider Crow, niche. I think Last Rider Crow is also solid. He does good damage. Crow could be niche. He uses a Wyvern tank. True. So if you do have Crow, you could use him in Wyvern. I don't disagree with that. Good call. But I think Last Rider Crow, you can use them in probably any story clearing. You can use them in Labyrinth teams because you can do the auto team with Biblis with them, which is really good. Lethe, no, she's not getting anywhere. Fire Lytica, niche, because she can be used in some of your Abyss 4s, and she's really good in other things. I think Lilius is top tier. Lilibet, no. Lionheart Sirmia probably goes in solid. Laya, very nice using her in PvE. I don't know if Laya deserves Conquer Lilius tier, though, on that. Little Queen Charlotte, I mean, she's usable, I'm sure. Lone Crescent Bologna is top tier. She's super good. Lua for PvE is no good. Ludwig for PvE, we'll put him in niche, I guess. I'm not sure what you could do with Ludwig. I'm sure he's decent. Lulica, again, niche. Wyvern. Maybe Fire Expo if you really wanted to. Isn't Firekin super good for PvE? Yeah, that's why I have him in solid. I don't know if Firekin deserves top tier. I think he might. He's really good. But what all are you using Firekin in? Because him being fire element cuts off certain things from using him. Yeah, Firekin isn't, though, guaranteed Wyvern one shot. So Luna, though, we'll put in solid specific content. She could be using Wyvern. She could be using a lot of things. Wyvern, Abyss, and then Labyrinth. Yeah. But yeah, Firekin definitely deserves higher. Maid Chloe will put in niche, but great in specific slots. She's an attack buffer and a cleanser. Honestly, I'm just going to put Maid Chloe as solid. Ken will just put in niche. Meteor to Coward goes in top tier for sure. Where would you use Elsie Bologna? You can use her anywhere. If you have her on Sacred Scythe Artifact, she will clear pretty much everything in the game, except for hunts. And you can use her in some hunts. But Babrox, thank you for using your Prime. Oh, we hit our goal today. 5 Twitch Primes today. But yeah, you can use Malona in almost any PvE content if you have her on some kind of healing artifact. So Melissa, we'll put her in niche. I think she's okay damage. I think Midnight Galililius. People argued with me last time, but if you try to use ML or Galililius in any PvE, she's insane. I think she's fantastic for PvE. Everywhere I've ever used her, her damage is so high. So I think she deserves like top of the top. Plus she gives attack buff. Milim, I think, is pretty good in specific content. Mort, no. No. Mui right now, niche, but great in specific slots because she's good in Rift, and that's it. Knockwall, not a PvP character. Navy Captain Landy obviously goes top tier. But hey, Vember, thank you for using your Prime as well. Alright, you guys are killing me here. But thank you guys. New Moon Luna. Guys, this character, I mean, she's probably niche. But this character does nothing for PvE, okay? Any of you that are seeing Luna, guys, she has a defense break on her S2 that's a 50-50. 50-50 chance to even have a chance to land it. So do we actually think New Moon Luna is going to be good in PvE? The answer is no. She will not be a PvE character. Ocean Breeze Luca, definitely solid. Operator Cigarette, I don't think you would ever use her. She looks good on PvE or PvP. I mean, she looks good, but what's New Moon Luna doing for PvE? She's doing nothing. She literally does nothing for PvE. You can't seal PvE character or PvE stuff. You cannot apply seal. So, like, she does nothing. Her defense break on her skill 2 is a 50% chance. I'll tell you right now, that ain't landing most of the time. Okay, so New Moon Luna is a PvP only character. Maybe she strips, right? But it's 7 turn strip. There's no reason to ever use her over AOL in PvE. All right, so Pavel, I think, has some niche spots. Peyra is an attack buffer. Peyra for PvE, though, she strips attack buff. I'll just put her there. She has some utility. I think Pyrokin of Flan is useless for PvE. Polytus for PvE could be okay, maybe. She does provide debuffs. She strips. She has a lot of stuff. I don't know where you use Polytus in PvE, though. Ram, niche character, she can be good. Ran, I think Ran's solid. You could use him like everything if you really wanted to, and he's good. And a lot of 3-star characters would be better options than her for PvE, yeah. But Ran, you can use him in a lot of different things. One of the main things that he's used for is the right side boss and Nightmare thing right now. So Ravi, I think she's just solid for PvE. She heals. Ray, I'm going to put him down to niche. I mean, there's just better options than Ray. Rem, solid. She's using a bunch of stuff. Remnant Violet, I'm going to say solid too. Some people might fight me on that, but his damage is insane. Requiem Rowana, definitely not PvE. Remru, I'll put in niche. I don't know how great he is in any PvE. Sure, he's decent in everything. Remru might go into solid, actually. He's guaranteed damage, steals buffs, gives defense break. So if you really wanted to use Remru, you could. Riza, niche. Rowana, we'll put Rowana top tier because if I don't, people are going to have a heart attack. Roy does insane damage. You can bring him in almost any PvE thing that isn't fire weak. Could BL Bologna replace Steny, for example? She could, yeah. Ruel, nah, let's just put her at the very bottom. I don't want anyone building it. Sage is definitely a PvP character. C Polytus, I think, deserves best all-around PvE. C Polytus is so damn good. SSB is top tier too. Yeah, you can put her there. Senya, maybe niche. You can use her in some things. She's not bad. Says, Does anyone use Sez? I feel like I want to put Sez at the bottom. Shaltir can be used in some PV. Sharoon, no. Shuna. What is Shuna gonna do? Cleanse? There's infinite better characters, guys. Sigret, we'll just put in solid. She's usable in a lot of stuff. I tried to use Sez in 2018. I'm putting him at the bottom. I don't care. I think you're better off using Riza Hawkeye than him if you're gonna use a lot of content. But yeah, so Steny is probably less damage than her overall. Not the Sezlander. Silverblade Araminta. Can't you use Silverblade Araminta in the left side boss in Labyrinth? Right? Isn't she one of the characters for that, or is that Carrot? I feel like you can use Silverblade Araminta on that boss because you want to get the burns. Soul is in niche. Soul, you think Soul bad guy's pretty solid? I don't believe you. Soul is Pog. Okay, you can go in solid. You really think he deserves that high? You guys are all saying he's pretty good. Solitaria. I don't know what Solitaria could be used in PvE wise. I don't think there's anything. Tell me if I'm wrong. Araminta, I think technically could be used at the same level. Specimen says for PvE, don't bother. Spectre Tenebria is going up top. Honestly, if Spectre Tenebria is up top, Lone Crescent Bologna maybe deserves up top. We have no top tier damage dealers for PvE. And I think Landy, Lone Crescent Bologna, and Spectre Tenebria, you can bring them in almost everything, can't you? These three characters are insane. Good day, sir. What's up, Inchia? Good for AI as well. I think these three ML5s are your best go-to characters that are just generally good in almost everything for PvE. Because these ones heal and this one hides. So these two heal and keep themselves alive. This one hides and stays alive. So I think both those are really good. Spirit Eye Celine, though, is maybe niche. I don't know. Strays is solid. Strays is solid or top tier. I don't even say Strays is top tier. The Strays one-shot teams aren't even worth it anymore. I'm just going to put him in top tier. He can be used. Stormbreak Charlotte deserves, or solid. Maybe, guys, let me know if you disagree on Strays, but you don't have him, so F him. Okay. Summertime Asaria, we're putting down. She doesn't deserve anything. Sylvan, down. Taeyu, down. Amarin, definitely one of the best. She deserves up at the top. Okay, so I'm going to put Tamarin here. Tenebria, it's solid in a lot of content. Top model Luica, I mean, I'm sure she's usable, but probably could be used, but don't bother categories. Same with Kairon. Tywin, niche. Urban Saddle Shoe, do not try to use for PV. It's garbage. Vildred, we'll just say solid. Violet, niche at best. Vivian, right now, Vivian is definitely solid. Would you say Vivian's top tier? I don't know if I'd say she's top tier. For a new player, she may be considered top tier because everyone's going to have her. She's an attack buff, immunity giver, high damage. I think for new players, yeah, I think she can deserve top. Euphine will put in niche. Yulha, honestly, no. Yuna, no, don't bother. Sahak, niche. Xeno, don't bother. Zio, not PvE. Giselle can do a lot of damage. Karina, don't bother for PvE. Ning Ning, don't bother. Winter, don't bother. Katie's decent cleanser. AOL, does AOL deserve to be this high? Okay. The only thing we really use her in is Nightmare Queen, right? So she just hits solid in specific content. Yeah. She's just solid. Angelica, we'll just put in niche. Armin, nah. Assassin Cartusia, all of these. Most of the ML4s are not. Oxlot's actually decent, though. Let's put Oxlot's up. Well, Oxlot's, though, I don't think Oxlot's deserves anything. Actually. Broman deserves more than Oxlot's does, to be fair. Broman defense breaks now. I think Broman deserves more than anybody else. I use Angelica more than her ML counterpart. Yeah, but I'm going to probably put the other Angelica up higher. Bad Cat, we're not putting Bad Cat in there. Don't bother. Blaze Dingo, again, don't bother. BBK, don't bother. This guy by an ad, get wrecked. CDOM can be used for that one-shot style thing that people do. Champ Zerato is decent in... That's it. He's only decent in one thing. Sid. Do you use Sid at all in PvE? I don't think you would. Clarissa, I mean, can be used for Wyvern. Coley, no. Corvus, no. Emelrin, no. Crimson Armin, you could use in anything. Crozet, Wyvern Tank. I love Crozet. He's the highest win rate Wyvern tank. No one can, argue with me on it if you want, but I did the math. I ran every Wyvern tank, and he had the highest win rate. With the lowest gear requirement on characters. Crozet is by far the most consistent Wyvern front tank there is in the game. He will win more than any other character. Fire Maya GVG Clutcher. We're doing PvE. We're doing the PvP tier list later. Free Spiriteria is going up in top tier. Because she defense breaks, she's a fast farmer, and for new players, she's amazing. Furious is solid in specific content, and he's like one of the best Wyvern characters. G Purgus. I'm putting G Purgus lower because now that Mui exists, there's no point to use G Purgus for Wyvern or anything. Great Chief Kawana is one of the best characters you can use for Hades, even though you shouldn't farm Hades. Angro, what in the world is that? Okay, Inferno Quazu, no. Infinite Horizon and Hades could be used. Corinne, don't bother. Kawana, don't bother. Quazu, don't bother. Kitty Clarissa. Kitty Clarissa is actually solid for sure. Kazuna AI is a no. Last Piece Kern's a no. Leo can be used in Banshee. Lots can be used in Fire or Grass Expedition. Maya's a no. Mercedes is solid as a new player because she does a lot of damage. Moon Bunny, no. Moon Bunny's not for PvE. Fergus, Ren, Roman Warlier, no. Roman, no. Rose could be used Wyvern for a take. Shuri, no. Cirilla, no. Shadow can be used for defense break, and it's decent. Yeah, we have so many units in the game. This one, no. We're going to go really fast through the rest of the tier list, anyone who's watching now. Sinful Angelica, solid. She's just about as good as Kitty Clarissa. Surin, don't bother. T-Surin, don't bother. Troublemaker Crozet, don't bother. Veronica, don't bother. Wonder Silk, don't bother for PvE. Don't use for PvE. Wajashuri, solid for PvE though. Okay, Zerato is a no. Aiden, regular. Wait, is this Verdant Aiden? I don't think this is actually Verdant Aiden, but Verdant Aiden will just put in solid though. Adelaide down. Adventure Raz are putting in top tier. He's one of the 3 stars that you can use in the most content. Bernard needs a tier above all around. Okay, we'll work on it. Inos, no, don't bother for PvE either. No. Alexa can be used for a Wyvern if you don't have Mui. I'm going to show actually an Alexa team in this guide just for the first clear. Miki, I don't know what half these characters do. And Montmorency can go up in solid. She's pretty good. Arrowell, she's niche. She's a nice tank to have if you need to do double tanks. So you can do Raz, Arrowell, Tamarin, plus another character. So she could be used for PvE. Her mitigation's insane. Bernard, niche, but great in specific slots. That's where your Bernard's going, okay? Inos is great in niche content. Is she, though? Is she? Where would you use Inos where you wouldn't just use Tamarin? Where? Where in the game? And everyone who's following my guide will have Tamarin. Unless they completely messed everything up. Camilla, solid. Actually, Camilla goes up higher. Her dual attack's too nice. Captain Ricorous, no. Carmen Rose. I'll do the specialty Carmen Rose higher. But all of these are just no's. Christy, for the Labyrinth team, Christy can be good. Claudia, no. Commander Lorena, solid. Wait. Solid. Dalmaker Pearl Horizon, no. Doris, no. Eaton, no. Elsa, no. But just know the PvP tier list will be very different. Falconer Clary, still solid defense break. Free character. Gloomy Rain, no. Godmother, no. Gunther, no. Hassel, Hatan, Hazel. Niche. Except we have Mascot Hazel, so put the other Hazel down. Helen, no. Helga, we have the specially changed to Helga. Holy Flame Aidens. I don't know anything about the Aidens, but Arifael. Thank you for the Twitch. Dude, we got more Twitch Primes while making this guide than we did the rest of the stream. But thank you for the Twitch Prime as well. All of you guys, I'll thank you again after stream or after the list. But Vember and Batrox, thank you. All I know is Green Aiden can be used in Rift, yeah. So I'm sure Fire Aiden has a niche spot that could be decent in. But all of these will drag him down. We're almost done. Jenna, no. Judith, no. Junie. I don't know what half these characters do. Kyrus, I'm going to go ahead and put into solid because she's really good in a lot of Abyss floors. I think she deserves it. Leah, SC Harada win. Hopefully never. Lilka is actually really good for that one content. She's really good for Grass Expedition. Lucy can be good in that one-shot team for Banshee. Doris probably is an okay cleanser. I'll just put her in there. Mercenary Helga is solid for... Actually, Mercenary Helga might go up here. Because she has defense break, right? But Ritzkit, thanks for follow. Or what's up? Not things would follow. What am I saying? Helga's solid. Yeah, Helga's actually really good. Mersa, I mean, Mersa can be used, but all these characters, this bottom tier, again, is probably could be used, but don't bother tier. So if you really like the character, go ahead and try to figure out where you could use them, but otherwise, these characters will not be great. Muse Rima. Mui. Mui is niche, honestly. He doesn't, I mean, no, Mui deserves solid. He's just that high level for Wyvern. He deserves everything. Otil, no. Pearl Horizon, Penelope, no. Pernia and Ragnavold, I put him there. Yeah, both. I'm not putting him there. I don't care. Pillis, no. Raz, that's a non-specially changed Raz. I mean, I'll put him there just so people aren't like, why is Raz down here? Carrot, I think, could be used against the upper left-hand boss in Raid. Ricorous, no. Rima, we're almost done. Savior Aiden is just general all-around good. But the other Aidens I'm going to put down here. Shadow Knight Pillis probably is decent. Shepherd Jenna, is she good? I don't even know what this character does. She gives Frostbite. I think she's a PvP unit. Silvertide Christie. Wait, I put the wrong Christie here. Silvertide Christie is used for the cheese and Labyrinth. Summer Discipline. Alexa's obviously really good for Wyvern if you put the resources in. Say you like Alexa, you can do that. Terranor Guard, though, definitely a solid character. Down here, I think we're just about done. Actually, I put the wrong Airwell there. Verdant Aiden, I'll put in solid. And we're done. Except for the Zealot Carmen Rose. Wait, Yuner Young? Isn't Yuner Young the one that has potential to be pretty good? And Zealot Carmen Rose goes in solid because she is a really high damage dealer. All right, so that's the list. I think we're done. I think it was that easy. Okay? Do you think we should change anything, though? T-Guard, God tier. No. T-Guard's just really good in a lot of stuff. But I think this is a pretty solid list. Maybe we can make some minor changes. Where's Camilla again? Solid. All the dual attackers are in solid. So here's Camilla. They're all in solid and specific content. That I feel that Momo could be higher. You think so? I mean, I agree. She's really good. I just don't have people build her because it takes a lot of farming to build her. Should I use a potion ascension on your movie? No, you don't need to 6-star your Wyvern characters. Guys, if you're following the guide at all, you don't really need to 6-star any characters besides your story team and then your cigarette. That's it. If you're following that, you don't need to really 6-star anything for quite a while. So just hold your 6-star stuff. I know you have the stuff to 6-star a character now. Does not mean you have to 6-star a character. Just because you have the stuff to do something out of 7 does not mean you need to do it. Use my pot on Airwell, that's fine. Honestly, if you do use it, you'll be fine, no matter who you use it on. I mean, you might waste it, but otherwise, I never SC'd Momo. I never use SC Momo. I did at the beginning of the game because there weren't other options. Now there's so many options, I don't bother having people do it. Hey, today you live, give me lucky. What? Okay, is there anything you would change to this guide, though? I like this. These are the standout top characters. The top tier characters are all like banger in their own slots. All of these, maybe some of the solid and specific contents could be bumped up to top tier. But overall, these are my favorite characters for PvE right here. For new players. With a new player in mind, I would say that this is really good. Now, a lot of these solid and specific content characters could be bumped higher for sure. But the tiers aren't saying, top tier isn't saying they're that much better than the specific content. It's just saying that these could probably be used in more things, or they're so good at what they do, they're bumped up a little bit. Could you give example of teams that go with top tier characters? The top tier characters, Albedo for anything, any story, any abyss, any labyrinth, anything. And it's about roles. So it's about the roles the character fills. So Brieg and Albedo fill a similar role. Asaria is a support character, so Asaria fills a similar role to Cerise. Cerise dual attacks, whereas Asaria defense breaks and resets characters. So these are support characters. And then Tamarin is a soul weaver, so she's a cleanser, healer, all of that, which would be the same as like say Rowanish and Injog Montmorency. Conqueror Lilius is a dual attacker, so she's gonna allow you to do more damage. She gives a buff, so she's a support character too. Same with Polytus. And you have your damage dealers, Spec Tenor, Lone Crescent Blow, Navy Captain Landy. And you have Adventure Raz, he's a tank like Brieg and Albedo. So your general teams are going to be a tank, a support, a healer, and a damage dealer. Or you can mix it up and you could go a tank, a healer, no support, or have your support be like a dual attacking character like Conqueror, Legacy, Phantom Poly does. So that's the general teams, and usually you take one hardcore carry damage dealer at that point. But otherwise, if you don't need that much tankiness, then you could go a Soul Weaver as your front character, 2 supports and 1 damage dealer, or 1 support and 2 damage dealers, and then your Soul Weaver. So there's a billion different teams you could do, any mixture, but you need to make sure you fill each of the kind of roles that you need to do within that fight. That makes sense. I probably explained that terribly, but trying to give like specific team examples, I mean, it just depends for what content. And every single expedition team is going to be different. Every single labyrinth team is going to be different depending on what boss you're fighting, usually. So, but that's like, you got to learn the rules of the characters and then create that team based on the rules. Just like Moonlight Theater, who do you go with? You go with Death Dealer Ray right now. He is the strongest character from the second Moonlight Theater. Wait, what do I do? Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to go ahead and end the video here. This is the tier list. I'm going to zoom out. If you need a picture of this tier list, you can click down below in the description and you can see, just know that a lot of these characters down here and the probably could be used, but don't bother. If you pulled one of these characters and down the road you want to use them because you like them, that's fine. You can use them later, but don't try to say, hey, I pulled Cirilla. Can I use Cirilla? I'm not going to answer that question if you ask it. Or how could I use her? I'm not going to answer that. Just follow the guide, and then once you get further, you'll understand the game enough and can look at the character and think, well, this content has these mechanics. This would actually fit into that content, I think, and I'm going to try it. Cirilla, it's this character here. She's a side story character. But and just know that some of the characters, other people would probably rank them higher. But overall, I think most people would have the same grouping of the top 4, pretty similar. Some of them might take some away, some of them might add some. But all of these characters could technically be used, but the niche and great and specific slots, these are very few and far between. Honestly, Spirit Eye Celine probably goes down. Actually, I think some of the lists got messed up down here because the two were so close together. But most of these things you can use in different spots. So don't take the list too seriously. Just know this is my opinion. I don't have anything else to say. Thank you for watching. I will be back with part 4 of the guide tomorrow, and then we'll have the PvP tier list, which I will be much more on point with because I actually play PvP and I haven't been using the same PvE teams for the last 4 years to clear all content. Once you get your initial PvE stuff set up, you really don't deviate from it unless that's your niche, is you like playing E7 for PvE. You will maybe build new characters. For me, I never build new characters for PvE unless there's a whole new player versus everything thing that comes out. That's the only time I'll build new characters. And usually, I don't even build new characters for that. I try to use what I already have to the best of my ability. So just know that PvE is not that important as to who you use in E7 as long as you have the basic things set up. So I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Peace out.